everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today in front of us is the Harley-Davidson Fatboy. This is a LEGO Creator Expert set. It is set number 10269, and this is one of the sets that we have been lucky enough to be able to request from LEGO to do a review for you. So thanks a lot, LEGO. I am a big fan of motorcycles in general, and this is one of the better, more high-quality motorcycle sets LEGO has ever made. Let me see if I can push that in a little bit better there. Anyways, some logistics. This is set number 10269, 1,023 parts, sells for 85 pounds, 100 US dollars, 90 euro. That is the baseline price for it. And yeah, it is pretty interesting. This is a pretty unique type of set. LEGO Creator Expert usually focuses just on cars, but this is a very, very iconic motorcycle. It's probably one of the more well-known bikes, I think, to have come out from the States in the last, I don't know, 30 years, I would say. And I'll get a little bit into the history of this actual bike and also the logistics of this actual set. So let me pick this model up for you, show you the baseline details. This actually has a little stand that studs into the bottom, nice and easy for display purposes, but of course it does actually ride around. Generally here, pretty much everything that you see in gray, light bluish gray, is pretty much supposed to be chrome on this thing. It is very much one of those classic Americana looking motorbikes, but done in kind of a more modern way. This wasn't actually released, the bike itself wasn't actually on the market until 1990, even though it's got that sort of classic Harley look where somebody could think that maybe this thing or something like it was riding around in the 1970s or even earlier. This is the number for its engine displacement. It is an absolutely massive engine. It's a hugely popular bike in the States, and there's pretty much every iconic detail, if you know stuff about bikes, is included here. We've got these huge exhausts, really wide foot pedals. This is apparently, I haven't actually ridden one myself, but the ride is incredibly smooth. There is a kickstand, sorry, can't see that. There's a kickstand that folds out, which is pretty nice. It's a little bit of a aggressive lean. It leans in a little bit tight there, but it's a very easy thing to fold back in, which is a nice function to have. We've got just basic lever pieces that make up the detailing for the clutch and of course the front brake. It's just a basic lever that we've got, and you know, a simple gauge and simple sticker detailing. Not too much in terms of sticker detailing for this model, which is nice. This is actually a print, which is particularly good. I think when I first built it, I accidentally put the sticker on the wrong side, so the slant was like way off, but it is a nicely detailed bit to have on the bike. And what's interesting here is you don't really see a LEGO set built from totally system pieces, almost totally system pieces. A little bit of Technic, a few Technic bricks here, some Technic lift arms in the back, and of course inside the frame, deeper into the build itself, there's some Technic for structure, but largely this is mostly system pieces. In fact, there's LEGO Star Wars sets that look like system sets, but they have a hugely Technic frame. This, on the other case, is pretty much what you see is what you get. There aren't a ton of super technical things on the inside. We don't have, like, let's say, the operating Technic pistons, which is really common for larger bikes that you would see coming from the Technic line. It really is just system pieces. It's funny that it can actually just lean over on its side without the foot peg, or sorry, without the kickstand. The foot peg here, or the much wider foot peg here, allows you to do that. It can lean on its side. Anyways, this actually only kicks it up ever so slightly from there. So, anyways, in terms of articulation, you can move some signal pieces here. The mirrors can go up and down. Of course, the clutch and brakes can move. The fork turns You can ratchet some of the foot pegs a little bit higher or lower if you like. The chain moves along with the back wheel, the incredibly fat back wheel. This can turn up and down. The side, the lights in the back can technically turn. Some of this stuff just has general posability, even though I'm not really sure that you want it. Oh yeah, this also ratchets in and out. The actual peg can ratchet in and out and move up and down. There is another little sticker detailing under here that I didn't point out before. Just nice, subtle pieces. There isn't anything actually too complicated about this. It's large, round shapes, a few different layering points here and there, but nothing particularly complex. It's just kind of a fun, maybe even more simple build compared to maybe some of the other creator expert cars that you can find. The only thing that I found really complex, it's not even really, is just a little bit of that layering in here. I don't know. That's really the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head that is slightly more complicated, I guess, when you're comparing it to the rest of the build. So yeah, there it is. Let me give you some final thoughts about this motorbike. Before anybody asks, this thing is not scaled to any of the creator expert cars. As you can see, it's actually bigger than these three over. Well, it's technically taller than this, but yeah, it is significantly bigger than any of the other car vehicles, which makes sense. But once again, it's not actually a bigger set in terms of pieces, not by any stretch of the imagination. There's some of these cars, the Mustang has like way more pieces, for example, but pretty comparable compared to some of the other smaller vehicles. What's funny here is also that this engine is like bigger than what the Fiat had. It's actually over twice as big, which is kind of interesting to think about. This really is one of those truly powerful models. Some things that I do like. I like that they used light bluish gray for the chrome to sort of suggest anything you see here in light bluish gray is actually a good color choice to use. I've seen people from previous reviews, this is kind of coming out later than others, that they wanted to see flat silver in this model, but I actually think light bluish gray works the best to imitate chrome, which is what it's supposed to do. So that was actually just a decent aesthetical design choice. The colors are nice, it's fine. Generally, I love yellow for a motorcycle, but not for the Fatboy. The Fatboy, I think, originally came out in silver. Since then, several colors have come for it, but I think this is sort of like the popular, nice, deeper, darker red that I think is actually a stock color for the bike itself when this was released, 2019. Anyways, yeah, it's fun. This is something that I think would be more interesting for people that are actually really into bikes. It's a little bit harder to sell, I feel like, than general cars. It's also fun for collectors. People are getting the creator cars as they come out. It's a little bit different. This sort of breaks the cycle in a certain way, so I can see why if you weren't super into bikes, that this would be a set that would be a little bit easier to pass on. I personally love motorcycles. I think they did a great job shaping this one out, and in terms of part to price ratio or whatever, if that's something that you pay attention to, certainly is there. I'm sure it's just as collectible for collectors later down the line. Yeah, and it's certainly a good choice in terms of wanting to choose a bit of Americana culture or something like that. This is actually a great example of that. Oh, there we go. I pushed this down. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the Harley-Davidson Fatboy. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.